So we have to meet up with my parents next week for lunch.
I want a divorce.
Was it something that I said? We don't have to go to lunch with my parents.
You are just so controlling, and I want to do more for myself.
There's someone else, isn't there? Oh, God.
I didn't want to tell you this, but yes, his name is Manual Mode, and he lets me do more. He lets me choose what I want to do. If I want to change my shutter, my aperture, my ISO, he lets me choose what I want to do.
I'll see you in divorce court then. So you want to stop using auto mode, eh? Well, do I have the thing for you. It's called manual mode. Now hold on. I know that it might seem scary, but after this video, it won't be. You just have to learn some camera basics. And no, that isn't your tinnitus. That's the phone ring. Pick it up. I'm here to help. Lens size and what the little mm means. That is a symbol for millimeters. Now, what does it mean when it says 100 to 400 millimeters? That number comes from the distance from the sensor to the point of convergence, or the point where light comes to a point. Now let's learn about the exposure triangle, ISO. ISO dates back to film days and refers to the sensitivity of the film that went inside of your camera. Now, in the world of DSLRs and mirrorless, ISO indicates the sensitivity the digital camera's sensor to light. To get a good, clean image, you want to be able to use the base ISO, which on most cameras is 100. ISO 100. This is the best choice for shooting outdoors on sunny days. The brightest situation you've likely been shooting in. ISO 400. When the lighting is still good, but less intense, like indoors, by a window, or outside on a cloudy day, a slightly higher ISO is ideal. ISO 800. If you're shooting indoors without an additional light source, like a flash, you'll be working in this range. ISO 1600. When it's dark out, or if you're shooting indoors with dim lighting, you'll need a high ISO. If movement is involved, you'll want to pair this high ISO with a fast shutter speed as well. The higher your ISO, the more noisy the image is going to be. This means that you're going to see something that looks like grain or fuzz. Why do you get fuzziness? Light is made up of photons. When you have a stream of photons hitting the sensor, they follow Poisson's distribution. It is a statistical distribution that lays out the probability of an event happening in a set interval of time. That means that when there is a low amount of light in a situation, the photons are not coming in a continuous stream, but in discrete photons. That's why you get the noise. Shutter speed. Shutter speed refers, again, back to the film days. There is a little door or shutter that lifts up to show the sensor to the world. The faster your shutter is, the more movement you'll freeze. Shutter speed is measured in fractions of seconds. 1 over 8,000 is pretty fast, whereas 1 over 30 is pretty slow. 1/500th of a second and above. This fast shutter speed freezes all but the quickest objects in frame. It is ideal for snapping race cars, skateboarders, skiers, and birds in flight. 1/100th to 1/500th. Perfect for freezing slow-moving and posing humans. This shutter speed is best for wedding photos, portraits, and pets when they're not running. 1/10th to 100th. Good for posing models, but ideally they need to be completely still. Using a tripod or framing a scenic shot with no movement can work well at these speeds. 2 seconds to 1/10th. A tripod is necessary as anything that moves will blur. Best for calm landscape images. up to 30 seconds. This slow shutter speed is great for long exposure shots, where water and clouds turn silky and dreamlike, forming wonderful images. Any slight movement blurs. I recommend using the highest shutter speed you can to really freeze the animal mid-movement. Hummingbirds are hard to photograph, and they definitely need a high shutter speed. I use 1/8000th of a second to try and freeze their wings. They just dart all over the place. They're hard to photograph. Aperture. Aperture is how much light makes it into the lens. The f-stop is a measurement how large the opening of the blades are. f1.4 lets in most light, but only included on professional or semi-professional cameras. f2, again, most mainstream cameras don't start at this level. f2.8, often the lowest f-stop on most cameras, and useful for low light conditions. f4 is a good choice for travel and nature photography. f5.6, the middle ground, good for photos of cities, buildings, and landscapes, where there is no single point of focus. Most zoom lenses are f4 and above. Prime lenses, which means that you cannot adjust the focal length, they are typically a lower f number. Typically, an f number of lower than 1.8 is reserved for more pro-line lenses, bokeh or Tony. With smaller f numbers, you will see a blurring of the background. It is known as the bokeh effect, also referred to as Tone, because of a well-known YouTuber named Tony Northrup, who loves to use low f numbers in his videos. Now that you know your camera basics, it's time to choose what to point your camera at. I have made a top 10 reasons to get into wildlife photography video. Try watching it now.